Shalom Havraim, James Trim here. In our last video, we talked about the untold story of Hasatan and the demons, the fallen angels. Today, I want to talk about a very specific and interesting group, a very specific category of demonic entities that you'll be surprised about, I think, that are spoken of in the book of Enoch, but also, if you know where to look, can be found in the scriptures, in the Tanakh, and also in the rabbinic writings, and especially the Zohar. Before we get going, I want to encourage everybody to please donate to support this work. Our rent is due very, very soon, and right now we don't have it. You can donate by sending donations by PayPal to donations@wnae.org or by clicking on the donate link in the video description below. These videos are brought to you by you, and I think many of you will agree that they are very unique, and I know you guys like the videos because we have a really high like ratio, really high like ratio. Sometimes around 10% of our viewers, 10% like to view ratio. That's huge. So please donate to support these videos so we can keep making them and keep producing this level of material that is so hard to find anywhere, really. All right, so I want to encourage you to also like these videos and subscribe to these videos. We're trying to reach 3,000 subscribers. We're almost there. And comment about these videos. Let us know what you think in the comments. All these things contribute to YouTube's algorithms. All these contribute to YouTube's algorithms, and those algorithms contribute to YouTube, what videos YouTube suggests to people, and that gets our message out to new people, new viewers. Also, another way to get our message out to new viewers is for you to share these videos on social media, Facebook, Twitter, etc., and share this with your friends so that we can reach new people. All right. So let's start with this passage in the book of Enoch that sometimes takes people by surprise, or sometimes it's a criticism of the book of Enoch. It's that's one thing I wanted to tell you. Like almost always, there are handouts for this video, and you can click on the handouts link in the video description to pull up the PDF and either print them out for yourself or put them on a second screen or whatever, so that you can follow along in the handouts. So, First Enoch chapter 19, verse 2. And the women also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens. Now, the Ethiopic text has Salmoian. Ethiopic isn't my specialty, which apparently means peaceful. I can see that. So salam, which is from the root Ethiopic, is a Semitic language, and so salam is I can see salam, which is shalom, and salam in Arabic, and shalom in Hebrew, and shlama in Aramaic. And this word means peaceful, which is widely regarded as a corruption, with the original reading being what is found in the Greek, which is Sirens, or Sirens. This is certainly a passage which we would like to see in the Aramaic, or much less the lost original Hebrew, but unfortunately the Aramaic for the passage hasn't survived. So immediately one thinks of Greek mythology. Of course, in Greek mythology, sirens were beautiful yet dangerous creatures who lured nearby sailors with their enchanted music and voices to shipwreck on the rocky coast of their island. So why would the book of Enoch refer to sirens? Isn't that pagan? Why would an ancient Hebrew text refer to figures from Greek mythology? And what was the original Hebrew word behind the word sirens, the Greek word? What are these sirens? Okay. So now let's look at what Rashi says about sirens. Now, no, Rashi isn't commenting on the book of Enoch. Rashi is actually, this is in his commentary to the Talmud, and he's analyzing the rules regarding the treatment of the firstborn of a donkey, of a firstborn donkey. And this is in the Talmud, in the Babylonian Talmud, Berachot 8a. It diverts, oftentimes the Talmud diverts into a tangent, into a rabbi trail, as we'll say. And it diverts into a discussion of the breeding techniques of various animals, and it says, dolphins reproduce like people. The Gemara asks, what are dolphins? So there's this word that's literally, it's almost literally a transliteration of the word dolphin in the Gemara. If you can read Aramaic, you can actually see it there. We put the Aramaic there for you. So the Gemara asks, what are dolphins? Rav Yehuda says, they are creatures that are called sons of the sea. So maybe dolphins in ancient Aramaic weren't what we think of, what dolphins has come to mean to us in modern English. That's definitely the possibility presented here. So the Gemara says that they are the Bnei Yoma, the sons of the sea. So what exactly are these sons of the sea? According to the great French commentator Rashi, he says there are certain, he's commenting on this passage of Gemara, he says there are certain fish in the ocean, half of the body has a human form and half has the form of a fish. In French, it is called a siren, a siren. I think, I don't know how to pronounce French, but apparently it's a siren. The Midrash Sifra notes that when the Torah lists the aquatic animals that cannot be eaten in Leviticus 11:10, it is understood to include an animal called the saranit in Hebrew. And that looks like possibly a descriptive or plural type word for siren in Hebrew. Okay. So let's now look at our next handout, sirens in the Septuagint, or in the LXX. So in the Greek Septuagint, the Greek word Siranos, sirens, does in fact appear several times. The Greek Septuagint is an ancient Greek translation of the Tanakh in Greek. And the Hebrew, where that phrase appears, is bat Yonah. Now, there's a debate as to what this phrase bat Yonah in the Tanakh means. In the Greek, like I said, it's translated sirens. Some arguing that it refers to a female owl, and others a female ostrich. The word Yonah always appears with the prefix bat, literally daughter of. Isaiah 13:21 through 22, for example, but wildcats shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of ferrets, and ostriches shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant places. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. These seem like maybe these are technical terms for different types of demons or demonic entities, and the Bat Yana, or the ostrich as it's translated here, is included, and that's the word that's translated in the Septuagint, sirens. Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 39, chapter 27 verse 39 in the Septuagint says, "Therefore the wildcats with jackals shall dwell there, and the ostriches shall dwell therein," or sirens in the Greek, "and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation." Micah chapter 1 verse 8, "For this will I wail and howl. I will go stripped and naked. I will make a wailing like jackals and a mourning like the ostriches." And again, the word that's translated ostriches in the KJV is Bat Yana, and it is a siren in the Greek. The context of this, again, seems to be female beings of some kind who cry and wail. I say female because it's always Bat, which means daughter of. All right, next handout is titled Peshitta Tanakh and Targum. So the Peshitta is the literal Aramaic translation of the Tanakh and the New Testament as well. And the Targum is the Aramaic paraphrases of the Tanakh. And in two of these examples from the Septuagint, Isaiah 13:21 and Jeremiah 30:39, the Hebrew phrase Bat Yana is translated in the Aramaic Peshitta Tanakh, Banat, which is Bat in Aramaic, in Syriac, Naamah. And the Targum Jonathan for Isaiah 13:21 has Naamin, Banat Naamin, which is virtually the same, different dialect of Aramaic. George Lamza, who produced a Aramaic translation, or an English translation of the Peshitta Tanakh, he renders this phrase in the Peshitta as ostriches. However, it's literally daughters of Naamah. The Aramaic of the Targum could mean daughters of loveliness, but could also be the plural form derived from Naamah. Naamah was the sister of Tubal-Cain, as we read in the Torah, in Genesis chapter 4, verse 22, "And Zillah, she also bore Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artificer of brass and iron, and the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah." Now here's where it gets really interesting, because as I've said many times before, the book of Enoch is the key to the Zohar, and the Zohar is the key to the book of Enoch. And the book of the Zohar, skeptics try and say that it was a forgery created in the 13th century by Moshe de Leon. However, as I said in the previous video on Hasatan and the fallen angels, as I said in the previous video, the Zohar many times references material from the book of Enoch by name, and other times not by name. Much of the material it cites from the book of Enoch by name, it gets right on. It's stuff that's in the book of Enoch, either first Enoch or second Enoch. When it doesn't, some of the quotations from the book of Enoch or references to the book of Enoch in the church fathers and other literature also doesn't survive in either first or second Enoch that we have today. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, because apparently there's lost Enoch material. But also the book of the Zohar frequently cites information from the book of Enoch without necessarily referring to the book of Enoch by name, the author or authors of the Zohar were privy to, that appears in the Book of Enoch. And this is important because the Book of Enoch was lost sometime not long after the 4th century to the Western world. It was preserved in Ethiopic only, in the Ethiopic Orthodox Church, but nobody in the Western world was aware of the book or its contents until an explorer brought it back to Europe in the 17th century after he went and visited Ethiopia. So the contents of the Book of Enoch were completely unknown to Jews in the 13th century, including Moshe de Leon. So our next handout, like I said, is titled Naamah in the Zohar, and this is amazing. It says, according to the Zohar, Naamah seduced the fallen angels led by Shemi-Chazah and Azazel, or Uzzah and Azazel, as they're called through in the Zohar. And she is the mother of demons and lives to this day, having her abode among the waves of the great sea. She is said to seduce men and make sport with them. This sounds very much like a siren. And it's exactly what the Book of Enoch definition of a siren is one of these women that copulated with the fallen angels. And it says, these two chiefs, this is Zohar, Volume 1, page 9b, these two chiefs were named Ephriria and Kestimon. They, moreover, bear the likeness of holy angels, having 6 wings. One of them had the face of an ox, and the other that of an eagle. But when they become united, they assume the image of a man. In times of darkness, they change into the form of a 2-headed serpent, and crawl like a serpent, and swoop into the abyss, and bathe in the great sea. When they reach the abode of Uzzah and Azazel, they stir them up and rouse them. These then reach into the dark mountains, thinking that their day of judgment has come before the Holy One, blessed be his name. The two chiefs then swim about in the great sea. When night comes, they fly off to Naamah, the mother of the demons, of whom the first saints were seduced. But when they think to approach her, she leaps away 6,000 parsangs and assumes all shapes and forms in the midst of the sons of men, so that the sons of men may be led astray after her. Isn't it amazing that the Zohar here is giving a description of what we would call a siren, and tying it to Naamah, which is the way the Peshitta and the Targum translate bat ana, the word that gets translated ostriches in our Bibles, but which the Septuagint translates sirens. And all of this ties together closely with what Rashi talked about when he talked about sirens. All right, Zohar, Volume 1, page 19b, she, Naamah, by her beauty led astray the sons of God. This is exactly with the Book of Enoch. How could the Zohar know what's in the Book of Enoch if the Zohar was a 13th century forgery? Nonsense. All right, she, Naamah, by her beauty, led astray the sons of God, Uzzah and Azazel, and she bore them children, and so from her went forth evil spirits and demons into the world. Wow, that's right on with the Book of Enoch. She wanders about at night time, vexing the sons of men and causing them to defile themselves. Wherever these spirits find people sleeping alone in a house, they hover over them, lay hold of them, and cleave to them, inspire desire in them, and beget from them. All right. Now, Zohar, Volume 1, page 55a, it says, And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. Rabbi Hiya said, why does the scripture particularly mention Naamah? The reason is that she was the great seducer not only of men, but also of spirits and demons. Rabbi Yitzhak says, the sons of God mentioned in the scriptures, Genesis 6:4, who were Uzzah and Azazel, wow, right out of the book of Enoch, were seduced by her. Rabbi Shimon said she was the mother of the demons, being of the side of Cain, and it is she who in company with Lilith brings epilepsy to children. Said Rabbi Abba to him, did you not say before her function is to seduce men? He replied, that is so. She disports herself with men and sometimes bears spirits from them, and she still exists to seduce men. Said Rabbi Abba to him, but do these demons not lie like human beings? How then comes she to exist to the present day? He replied, it is so. Lilith and Naamah and Egeret, the daughter of Mahalat, who originated from the other side, from the evil, will all continue to exist until the Holy One, blessed be He, sweeps away the unclean spirit, as it is written, I will cause the unclean spirit to pass out of the land. Zechariah 13:2. Said Rabbi Shimon, alas, for the blindness of the sons of men, all unaware as they are, how full the earth is of strange and invisible beings and hidden dangers, which could they but see, they would marvel how they themselves can exist on the earth. This Naamah was the mother of the demons, and from her originate all those evil spirits which mix with men and arouse in them concupiscence, which leads them to defilement. It is because such a hap comes from the side of the unclean spirits that it entails the need of purification by ablution, by water immersion, as our colleagues have explained. And finally, from the volume 3 of the Zohar, pages 76b through 77a, we read, one male came into the world from the side of the spirit of the side of Cain, and they called him Tubal-Cain. A female came with him who was called Naamah, from whom issued other spirits and demons. These hover in the air and tell things to those others below. This Tubal-Cain produces weapons of war, and this Naamah clung to her own side, and she still exists, having her abode among the waves of the great sea. She goes forth and makes sport with men, and conceives from them through their lustful dreams. From that lust she becomes pregnant and brings forth further species in the world. The sons whom she bears from human beings show themselves to the females of mankind, who became pregnant from them and bring forth spirits, and they all go to the ancient Lilith, who brings them up. She goes out into the world and seeks her little ones, and when she sees little children, she cleaves to them in order to kill them and to insinuate them herself into their spirits. There are, however, 3 holy spirits which fly in front of her and make that spirit and take that spirit from her and set it before the Holy One, blessed be He, and there they seer taught before him. They are taught before him. Thus they guard that child, and she cannot hurt him. But if a man is not holy, and draws upon himself a spirit from the unclean side, she comes and takes sport with that child, and if she kills him, she enters into his spirit and never leaves it. You may say, What about those others whom she has killed? Although the three angels confronted her and took from her their spirits. Since they were not on the side of uncleanness, they had the power. Why had she power to kill them? This happens when a man does not sanctify himself, yet does not purposefully try to defile himself, nor actually do so. In such cases, she has power over the body, but not the spirit. Sometimes it happens that Naamah goes forth to have intercourse with men, and a man is linked with her in lust, and then suddenly wakes and clasps his wife through his mind is still full of lust of his dream. In that case, the son is so born is the side of Naamah, and when Lilith goes forth, she sees him and knows what has happened and brings him up like the other children of Naamah, and he is often with her, and she does not kill him. This is the man who receives a blemish on every new moon. Okay. So whenever we see a reference to ostriches in the Tanakh, the actual word in the Hebrew is bat anah, and the Aramaic Peshitta text and the Targum translate this in Aramaic as the daughter of Naamah, or daughters of Naamah, and this is translated in the Septuagint as siren, and it fits very well with 1 Enoch chapter 19 verse 2, and the women also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens, and that fits exactly with the Zohar tradition concerning Naamah, and which describes Naamah as a demonic entity virtually identical to what in Greek mythology was called a siren. So the idea of sirens in Greek mythology has its root in an actual demonic entity, which is the word translated ostriches in our Bibles, and which which is translated sirens in the Septuagint, and which are directly referred to in 1 Enoch 19:2 and throughout the Zohar, and which Rashi also speaks of, and also apparently the Midrash Sifra on Leviticus 11:10. So there's all of these things tied together, and it's very, very interesting that the Peshitta Aramaic translation translates the same word that the Septuagint translates as sirens. It translates as daughters of Naamah, and the Naamah in the Zohar is described as being a demonic entity, described as being basically a siren. And 1 Enoch chapter 19:2 talks about exactly the same women that the book of the Zohar is speaking of, and says that they shall become sirens in 1 Enoch 19:2. And how is it possible that all these things just coincidentally fit together? And how is it possible that the Zohar is privy to this knowledge from the book of Enoch, which would not have been available to the authors of the Zohar if they were making a forgery in the 1300s or the 1200s in the 13th century? And how is it possible that all that also then agrees with the ancient Peshitta Tanakh translation of the same passages that the Septuagint is translating as siren? All right. So I hope this helps you understand 1 Enoch chapter 19 verse 2, and that you are aware of these demonic female demonic entities, and that you also know that it's simply impossible for the Zohar to have been a 13th century forgery, and yet be privy to this very ancient information derived from the Book of Enoch. All right, one last time, I want to encourage you to please donate to support these videos. You can click on the donate link in the video description or send donations by PayPal to donations@wnae.org. Don't forget to like these videos, subscribe to these videos so that you can continue to get this content and get notifications when new videos are posted, and help us reach that 3,000 number, of 3,000 subscribers. Let us know what you think of these videos in the comments, and of course share these videos with your friends on social media like Facebook, Twitter, etc., etc. And until next time, shalom everybody.